Send out Twitter, get everything connected, walk on screen, and end with Discord. Haha! We should be good. So, hello everyone, this is Chris Ingerson, and it is January 20th, and this is the January 20th Text Quest Devstream. So, despite the government shutdown, we are still going live. Ha! Topical humor. But in all seriousness, we are going to be doing more custom adventure stuff because it's Saturday. That's what I like to do on my Saturdays. We are going to start, and I'm assuming pretty much be entirely consumed by today, with setting up custom adventure string constants. I don't really know what else to call them, but they're basically the variety of messages that show up whenever you play a custom game. So I'm going to go ahead and jump in and show you what I mean. But these are strings that will always be shown, or could always be shown, in any given custom game, and I want to expose those strings. So let's go ahead and click through here. So these would be things like, when you type quit and you want to quit a custom game, we want to show a message, say, are you sure, yes or no, and then allow you to do custom things depending on that. So let's go ahead and go to extras, author mode. We're going to create. We'll go over to Zork. All right. Let's see. So we have variables. That's our stuff. I'm just going to go ahead and test the game. So we're going to go ahead and try to quit out. So this message here, are you sure you would like to quit? Yes or no. That should be, configurable. So you should be able to say, are you sure you would like. Well, so this would be the default. Are you sure you would like to quit? But you could customize, like, are you sure that you're a coward? Yes or no, depending on whatever you want to type. And then, of course, same thing here. When you type no, default is just going to say cancel and quit, but it could say, like, you choose to go back and face your fears or something. I don't know why I keep going on, making it sound like it's some sort of demonic invasion or something. But so basically, these sorts of things are things. These sorts of strings that get output, I want these to be customizable. So we're going to go ahead and start with that today. So I'm going to quit out. And I think we're going to end up setting it up here. So we're going to move this menu, which is originally this giant variables menu. We're going to make this variables menu a submenu, and we're going to have instead like a generic actual game settings menu, which will have things for variables, it'll have things for constant definitions, and then probably a tab for game information. That way you can edit things like who created it. You can edit, I guess we'll probably keep the change background image here, but you can edit all sorts of other information that gets shown whenever you actually do something, or whenever you actually set a parameter for when you're creating this. Let's go ahead and show an Explorer. Assets, text quest, custom. Go ahead and stop playing because we need to actually edit things. So this is currently the save file that gets generated for the Zork game. And you can see that we have this chunk here for game info. So it's going to be things like the title, who created it, the description of the game. Type is kind of irrelevant right now, but in the future it might not be. And then the background game image, of course. So mostly what you would probably be able to edit would be things like game name, game creator, game description, and then game image. I don't know if I want to allow you to swap between classic and graphic modes. That might be impossible for me to try and do, especially because they would contain a bunch of different information, so we're probably not going to allow that. But we might as well allow you to adjust all this stuff. That way you don't get locked into it when you make it. All right, so first things first, we're going to want to go ahead and open up some of our stuff. Open up CG options. Yeah, I meant to actually look at this. Do we actually do this anywhere? We do. We have a custom game map view. Oh, okay, I guess that makes sense. So this is actually for the map options. I probably should rename this. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and guess we'll say sitting or settings. Or I wonder if it would make more sense to move this stuff underneath map, because right now room and options probably belong under there, but let's go ahead and say, well, first off, I'm going to go ahead and just rename this. So rename this to map options view from options view, and that's because I'm probably going to want to have options view. So let's go ahead and call that map options view. And let's see, probably should go ahead and grab CG variables. So, I mean, maybe I can move this. I probably should actually have variables be distinct so that it doesn't get too confusing. Yeah, there's not really a good spot for this, is there? I'm trying to think of the most logical place that these things should go. And maybe grouping them together underneath one big menu might not work. Because it doesn't really make sense to have variables be in the same place as things like settings. I feel like there should be a difference there. Let's go ahead and actually navigate back to that. I want to see what that menu looks like again. And see if I already have these things sort of in a good place or if I want to move them around. So, let's go ahead and play. One day, Unity will run fast for me. Okay. Let's go ahead. Start. Extras. Author mode. Create. Zork. Alright. So, if we go up here to the map and click on options, then we get all of this stuff. And so that's fine. Let's go ahead and quit out here. So we have one for interactions, which again makes sense. See, so I'm thinking that really game settings and variables should be two separate things. So I would think that variables would be similar to our interactions view here, so it would be a very explicit thing. I still need to get it so that I can have the correct background sprite on all of this crap. So I guess variables, interactions, and dictionary would all be their own individual sections, and then game settings would allow you to edit things like the created by, the background image, which I already kind of have here, and I'm not entirely sure if I would want to really move that. As well as, you know, all the other relevant information. And that kind of makes more sense for those to be grouped together and variables to be a separate thing. So let's go ahead and do that. It's not playing. We're going to come over here to CG Create View, which does mean that I need to change a bunch of stuff. So let's see. We're going to have buttons. Let's go ahead and update that to be 8 long. We're going to have drop down group field, copy that. We're going to have one for, we're going to change this to variables button. Alright. Or actually, you know what? No, that's fine. Whatever. I'm just going to, well, second guess all around. I was going to rename that, but then that would have involved a lot of compilation stuff. That would have been annoying. So let's just go ahead and go down here. Let's see. Are we doing this? Oh, good. At least I handled that right. Let's see. On back click. Save clicked. Dictionary clicked. Interaction settings. And here we are. So I'm going to say private void on variables. Clicked. Go ahead and grab that. We're going to change this to nothing for now. Let's scroll all the way down here to the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and say variables button dot on click dot add listener on variables clicked. Okay. We do need to go ahead and add a hint for this. So let's see. We're gonna have 9 hints. Setting hints. Let's go ahead and grab that. Paste this here. Rename this to variables hint, adjust these settings. We'll just go ahead and say adjust the variables for your custom game. Maybe I should, hold on. Let's see, adjust the variables your custom game uses. Let's go ahead and say adjust the settings. Let's go ahead and say adjust settings like. Trying to think what would be a good description for that. Presentation settings, I guess, for lack of a better term. Presentation settings for your custom game. That's a really awkward phrase. Not a big fan of that one. I need to come up with something better, I think. But let's go ahead and go back here. Let that compile. Let's turn on our UI, and I'm going to go ahead and grab our custom create. It's this one. Yeah. Let's go ahead and drag that up here. Well, I would drag that up, except I can't because Unity is lagging right now, so we'll go ahead and let that compile. Oh, that's interesting. Is that how that works now? That would be weird. But I wouldn't put it past them to do it like that. Hold on, I'm curious. Let's see. I think we want the rooms. Curiosity. No, okay, never mind. I don't know why I have a nothing selected here. That's really weird. Okay, I guess it doesn't really matter because I'm going to be editing this, but let's go ahead and load that up, make sure that everything's in there. Okay, settings hint. Okay. Adjust the variables your custom game uses. Yeah, that'd be fine. Let's see, buttons. We're going to go ahead and duplicate settings button. Move that up to here. And pretty much puts everything on there. We're probably going to eventually get rid of this autosave as well because there's no real need for it anymore. Everything just automatically saves anyway. We're going to rename this to variables. Variables button. Okay, let's go ahead and single scale that. All good there. Let's go ahead and rename everything now. So it's going to say variables. Let's see, game settings, all of that is fine. So we just need to now assign the actual button there. Alright, so we're looking for variables button. Let's go ahead and collapse that, turn this off, then hit apply. Go ahead and turn off our UI. I'm going to save, and then I'm going to go ahead and add a new script real quick. Let's see, variables, options. Okay, we're going to go ahead and create C# script. We're going to call this CG underscore game settings view. We'll say settings view. Yeah, that's fine. All right, go ahead and open this up. No, we need to keep that open. Let's see. So for this, we're gonna make sure it's in the text quest namespace. Let's see. I guess we'll just make it derived from GameView. So let's go ahead and say using sleepyowl.common GameView and what else do we need to do here. We are going to need using TM Pro, and that's probably it. So we are going to have, I can't really, potential fixes. I don't have, oh, okay, I get what you're saying. So, I think we're going to need a couple of other things, like we need to know exactly what our IDs are going to be, which is great because that actually means that we need to have some new sections to our game save state. Let's see. I really wish I had a whiteboard next to me, but I don't. I need to buy one. Except that costs money. Let's go ahead and real quick do a quick pass through, and I'm going to find a notebook. Really, I don't have one right next to my door, or right next to my office space. I don't. Huh. I thought I did. I must have moved it. Okay. Well, fine. I'm gonna use my notes. Actually, I'd rather not use that. I am going to grab some scrap paper that I happen to have here. And then a pen, which I also happen to have here. Oh, it's a pencil. But it's shaped like a pen for some reason. It's weird. Okay, so let's go ahead and find my mouse first. Start. Okay, let's go to extras, author mode, create, Zork. Alright, so start room. We're going to want to have text shown at the very beginning. So we're going to want to have like start text. Take a note of that. Let's see. When I oh wait, hold on. Let's go north. Let's go ahead and say take key. Let's go south again. Let's drop key. Let's go north, then south again. Frack. Huh. What the heck? Did that break again? Oh, no, that's why. Yeah, hold on. Look. Room. There we go. No, that's fine. That's actually expected. Okay, so we need the UC text. Okay, what else do we want? Quitting. So we want the quit text. We want the quit cancel. So when we say no, we could probably try to customize the quit response in such a way that you can define the yes and no, but we're going to hold off on that for now. Let's see, what else do we want? That's 4. I thought we had 5. Oh, right. I guess, so if we go south again, I think that, yeah, that ends the game. So we want the end text. So that's text that's shown when you complete the game. And I think that would be it for now. Right? Like, there's not really much left. What would we do with this? Quit. I guess a quit confirm text, so when you select yes. Okay, so that's a decent enough list for us to start from. So that gives us 6. Yeah, 6. Only 4 of which we can actually use right now, but that's fine. So let's go ahead and stop playing. So I'm thinking the best way to do this is going to be through scriptable objects. So we're going to have a bunch of scriptable objects that will hold information on what the actual strings that we're manipulating are, and then we'll be able to adjust that at runtime. Hello, Dusted Ham! Welcome to the Devstream. How are you today? Okay, so let's go ahead and find our... Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and say create C# script. We're going to say CG settings... Ah, jeez, how do I want to... I guess we can call it just game strings. I don't really know what else to call... Oh, that's actually redundant. CG is custom game, so it's custom game strings. Okay. String constants? String constants. Yeah, that's a perfect name. Good. How are you? Well, my response to that is always, we'll see how the Devstream goes, but tentatively happy right now. So hopefully that keeps by the end of the stream. Well, if you don't mind me asking, how'd you come across the stream? Most of the time, I assume it's just people randomly scraping the bottom of the barrel on Twitch, but you know, I always like to ask. All right, so now that that's open up, let's go. Okay, where'd you go? No, you didn't actually open up. There we go. Let's go ahead and make sure that this is in the TextQuest namespace. We're going to go ahead and say create asset menu, which is a nice built-in thing that Unity has for creating scriptable objects. Makes it a lot easier. Don't have to make custom menu commands all the time. Just scrolled down. I'm immediately in love with any ASCII games, so here I am. Well, all right. Well, this game definitely has a lot of ASCII in it. Although, admittedly, I don't know if it... Well, no, it has ASCII art in it. Actual proper ASCII art. But we won't be showing that today, though. Saturdays I like to use for custom game development, so we're working on basically allowing players to make their own custom text-based adventures within the game itself. So, let's see here. So file name for this is going to be, I guess we'll just say custom game string constants. And then let's go ahead and say menu name is going to be equal to, let's see, that would be create text quest slash, we'll say custom game slash string constants. All right. Wow, I spelled constants the wrong way. Okay. So let's go ahead and let that compile real quick. Oh man, this is going to be a pretty editor-heavy thing, I think. Oh, by the way, Dusted Ham. Just because I'm going to be doing a lot of coding right now, so I'm not going to have a good chance to show you what the game looks like. But if you're curious, there's actually a link to the demo of the game on the Twitch page. Also, thank you for following. In any case, I think I can do this. Website. Aha! So if you're curious to see what the game actually plays like, feel free to visit the website and download the demo. I apologize that I can't show that right now because I'm doing a lot of heavy code stuff. Anyway, let's see. Where was I? Oh, right. I was lamenting the fact that I need to do a lot of editor scripting. That won't be too bad. So for this, it's going to be a scriptable object. Let's go ahead and say scriptable object. And we're going to have, I guess, well, does it make sense to have a list? They might as well be arrays. But it is going to need a class for that, which I guess I can just actually put inside here. So we're going to go ahead and say public class. And we're going to go ahead and just define this as constant. Wow, constant. I cannot type. Serialize. Nope. System dot serializable. So do you Well, you say you like ASCII games. What are some of your favorite ones? Just out of curiosity. So this is going to be our constant. This is going to be public string ID as equal to that, and then a public string value, which is going to be equal to that. And we can just go ahead and say public constant array, and we'll just say constants equal to new constant array of 0. All right, so let's go ahead, let that compile, and then we're going to need to make an editor script. Oh, and of course that means we need to use our wonderful new editor layout because of assembly definition files. So give me a second to find it. Cogmine cropped up recently, and it's pretty top tier. Okay. Dwarf Fortress is probably my favorite, though. Yeah, well, I feel like that's going to be a lot of people who like ASCII art's favorite. Makes sense, though. I mean, it is a lot of ASCII art. Let's see. Let's go ahead and collapse the folders that we don't need. Gameplay, triggers, get rid of the views. Where is it? Did I... Oh, I put it here. Ugh, why did I do that? Okay. Scripts, content creation. Let's find our exact path here. So we're going to do views, scripts. Let's see, views, wrong thing. Views, scripts, and then we get into map and room, and we want options. Okay. Go ahead and create folder. So we'll say options, create. So this will be CG string constants editor. All right. Oh, I always forget. I should probably say that we're going to be doing a lot of coding today. I probably should also have a little pop-up for custom game stuff, considering that we do that every weekend. Well, either way. So I guess if you like ASCII games, does that mean that you generally like the aesthetic more, or do you like text-based games in the sense of like, you know, parser games, or choose your own adventure, or I guess if you have a preference there. Some people just like all of it. Let's go ahead and say text quest. Okay, so this is going to derive from an editor. Let's go ahead and say using Unity editor. And finally, well, we don't. We'll go ahead and say using sleepyowl.common.editor. Oops. Editor. All right, and if I'm lucky, I will be able to say, let's see, private void on enable. We don't really care about that right now, but we're going to need it. Let's override on inspector GUI. We are not going to be doing that. We are going to go ahead and say custom editor utility dot draw script field, and that will be for the serialized object. All right. So for this is going to be super fun, by the way. We're going to need private serialized property, and we're going to say m underscore constants. We'll say m underscore constants is equal to serialized object dot find property. Constants. And then we have to do a bunch of reorderable list stuff, which will probably take me a second. I'm going to let that compile. Let's see. I really like the aesthetic, but I like text adventures too. Never been great at them though. Well then, this is the perfect game for you, because it's a mishmash of the aesthetics, and it's a lot more approachable, I think, than the old school text adventures are. So let's go ahead. I'm actually going to go ahead and close that real quick. Come back here, open this. I've learned that this is the best way to handle scripts with multiple line ending types now. Kind of annoying because I have to close the script and then reopen it, but okay, so geez, geez, I gotta remember how to do this. I know we're gonna have to say using Unity Editor internal, and I'm probably actually just gonna cheat and find this in the last time that I did this. So let's go ahead and say find all. I've only used this a couple of times, but here we are, level names. So this is the sort of thing that I have to do. I basically have to initialize a reorderable list and then do a bunch of callbacks, which is very annoying. But okay, so we're gonna come up here, say private reorderable list. We'll call this list. Well, yeah, we'll call it list. Okay, then we're going to need to do a couple of things. So we want to draw reorderable list. So let me add more, right? Yep. Okay, good. That's in downtime at work, and they had me playing around with Alexa stuff, so I made a little 3-room text-based game, or I guess voice-based on this case. That's cool. That's actually something that I've seen a few people doing, basically using Alexa as kind of like an intermediary for text adventures by doing voice commands, and I think that's really cool. So are you a game developer by trade then, or are you just messing around with it for something at work? Okay. So for this, we're going to want to go ahead and say list is equal to new reorderable list. It's going to take, I believe, can I say, I don't know, I think it's a serialized object followed by m constant, so that's our actual list. Oh, I actually kind of wonder, does that mean that I need to have it be a list? Let's find out. Peak definition, so it is a list. I'll probably make it a list then. So we'll go back here and I'm going to make this a list. So we're going to say using system.collections.generic. We're going to change that to a list of constant equal to a new list of constants. Same thing. All right. Then we're going to go ahead and say true, comma, true, true, and true. Okay. So that should initialize our list, but now we've got to handle things like how we show each element and all that. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy this. Grab that, move this down to here. Okay. Uh-oh. Site's not loading? It loads for me, but just to be sure... That's super weird. Oh, I bet I know what it is. I still need to handle my HTTPS certificate. So for now, it's not HTTPS. It's just HTTP. That's why I was failing to connect. Try that. Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm a junior game dev, so still lots to learn. Well, that's the fun time to be a developer. Well, I mean, there's not really a non-fun time, I guess, but because you're going to be learning a lot of new stuff. So, yeah, sorry about that. I really need to get the HTTPS stuff figured out. I just hate doing web work. Okay, so we have our label field. So this is going to be our header. I guess we can go ahead and say m constants.displayName. It'll do the same thing for the most part. So this will be list, not serialized property. That's pretty much all we care about there. Oh, I am going to, I guess, have to... Yeah, that's fine. So I'm going to go ahead and let that compile. I think I'm going to end up moving... Let's see, where is it? String constants. I'm going to move this constant class into its own script, because I have to have a custom editor for it, and I really don't like having editor scripts within editor scripts. That gets really messy. So I guess we'll go ahead and define that as a CG underscore string constant. Which actually, it's going to get gross. So let's go ahead and create this. We'll say CG for custom game, string constant. Just call that. And then I'm going to go ahead and change this class to be called string constant collection. I know it's going to cause some problems, but it'll be fine. Trust me. I'm going to go ahead and double click on that, open that up, and let's go to fix that little issue because of course we have to fix it. And we're going to go ahead and rename this to string constant collection. Hey, okay. Let's go ahead and rename this, which means we need to rename this to string constant collection editor. Hit save there, and let's see. We're going to let all of that compile. Open you up. We're going to go all the way up to here. Where are you? Rename this. Ah! Here we go. Ah, no, come on. I can totally do this. String constants collection. No, I lost an L. Yes, I win. Be back in a few minutes. Gotta go grab supper. Alright, no worries about it. I'll be on when you get back, I assume. Probably gonna be here for another 2 hours, so enjoy your supper. Alright, so after all of that, it's gonna compile. So we should be able to come back here. Let's say text quest. Alright, so this is just going to be a serializable class, so we're just going to say system.serializable. It's going to be the same thing that we had here, basically. Let's grab this, paste that in there. Okay, very simple. We're going to get rid of all of this because we're not really doing much with it. We're going to get rid of this. Grab you, paste this in. Alright, so after all of that, if we let it compile, we will be able to create a scriptable object. I'm going to show you what it looks like now without a custom editor, but we're going to need to actually make one. Otherwise, our reorderable list is going to look a little dumb. So, take a drink real quick. Ah, man. I really need to work on that compile time, which just sucks because that means I have to make assembly definition files for individual parts of my project, and I just, ugh. Alright. So, data, where's my data folder? Here we go. I guess we'll put it under content creation. Okay, we're going to go ahead and say create. So there should be SOS, text quest, and then, oh, did I not put it there? Where did I put it? Let's go to constant collection. Text quest, custom game, string constants. So let's go ahead and say create. So, oh, I guess I wasn't. Oh yeah, it's up here. So we probably want to change that. So let's see. String constants. We'll go ahead and let that compile. Oh, duh. Of course, I forgot. The most important part of an editor is to make sure that it actually is, the editor for your script. Let's go ahead and open that back up. So I need to say custom editor, type of, and we're going to say CG underscore string constant collection. Yeah, it's kind of important to have it do that, otherwise it's not going to actually be used. So come up here. We should be able to see that swap over as soon as it finishes compiling. Do we have anything else that we need to do here? Oh crap, yeah. Say list dot. Let's see, draw header callback. Okay, good. I just do plus equals draw header. So I forgot a couple of things. List dot draw element callback plus equals draw element. All right, so that should actually handle our reorderable list properly. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure we're going to get either nothing or an error. Oh, and I also need to do this. List.doList. Pretty sure it's doList. So, or do layout list, I guess. Do layout list. Okay. Yeah, I forgot all the hoops you have to jump through to get that to work properly. Because reorderable lists, of course, can't be that easy to do. Otherwise, they'd lose their illustrious lure. So we should have our script field and then our list, which is pretty much all we care about. So go ahead, go back to Unity, and take a look at it. All right, there we go. So now I can go ahead and add this, and you can see it's kind of not great because we're going to get this, and that's not what we want. So in order to really do that, I need to have a defined property drawer for it. So I'm going to come up here. I'm sorry, I'm actually going to go down here. We're going to say create C# script CG underscore string constant drawer. So this is going to be a property drawer, which is like a mini editor, kind of. It's not a full-blown editor like you would see for most large classes. Instead, it's just a very specific instruction on how to draw a small amount of data. So we're going to make this part of the text quest namespace. We're going to have to come up here, say using Unity editor. Okay, we're going to make this a property drawer. So custom property drawer, type of CG underscore string constant. All right. So for this, we're just going to go ahead and say override. We don't need to override height because we're just going to use the default height of one line. And we're going to say on GUI, which we will completely rewrite to more or less just do this, which is going to be position times equals 0.5f. Oh, position.width, not position itself. Position.width times equal 0.5f. Then we're going to go ahead and say editor GUI dot property field position, and then property dot find property relative. Oh, and with GUI content dot none, of course. So this is going to be ID. Then we're going to go ahead and grab this, paste all of this here, and we're going to say instead of width times equals 0.5, we're going to say dot x plus equals position dot width. Okay, then we're going to change this to value. Sweet. So let's go ahead and let that compile. And that should, oh, yeah, fine. Let's go ahead and close that. Open it back up so that it can detect the different line endings. I must have forgotten to do no, like, it must do it automatically. I don't know. I know that I've converted all of those line endings to Windows, so it seems like it's a weird Visual Studio 17 thing. I don't know. Alright, let's go ahead and let that compile. And grab this. Oh, and you know what would probably be smart for me to do is this. Let's see, so serialize object.update. Serialize object.apply modified properties. Otherwise, my data will not save. So, need to have those two calls. And I'm pretty sure that's all I need to do. Yep, it is pretty much just that. Okay. Well, that's nice. So I should be able to actually edit this. So you can see that we have these two fields. Wow, that did not do what I was expecting at all. Which means that I must have something else going on here. Give me a second here. I'm going to peek this. Let's go ahead and find all references to that. They must have their own property drawer, which must be doing something weird. It's not. It's pretty much doing the exact same thing as this. Huh. But then why are you... Oh, I bet I know what it is. Hold on. Go ahead and peek this again. It's because of that. That's why. Okay. Interesting. I honestly don't quite know why it's like that, but sure. So we can type things like ID and then value here. So these are going to be the actual things that we would see. But why is it so large? I don't remember it, or I don't remember it being that big. I guess that kind of makes sense. Oh no, let me think. Actually, you know what would probably work better than that is, let's see here. I suppose we'll want an actual value or a custom script for that. So we're going to come down here, create C# script. We're going to say CG underscore string constant ID. We're just going to make this an enum because these values will never change. There's no reason for them to be strings. I might as well make them enums. Let's go ahead and grab that. Should you choose to do so, we're going to come back here. Yes, that's fine. We're going to change this from a string to a CG underscore string constant ID. We'll leave that like that for now. We're going to make this a byte enum. Enum. Make this text quest. Okay, we'll say none by default, which is going to be 0. Let's go back here. We're going to say that's equal to CG underscore ID dot none. Okay, so let's go ahead and let that compile. And while that's happening, I'm going to go ahead and continue populating these. So we need things for start text. It's going to be equal to, we'll say 5. End text. Text is equal to 6. What else do we want? Quit text equal to 10. Quit confirm is equal to 11. Quit cancel is equal to 12. Let's see. Next we'll say item list item. Well, it listing is equal to 15, I guess. Okay. Get rid of the extra unneeded using stuff at the top. If we come back to Unity, we should be able to select our dropdown, or our reorderable list now. So this is what I was expecting, this type of interface. I guess we want to change this value so that it kind of shrinks the actual display area here. That's really weird, but sure, why not? Constant drawer. So I guess we'll say something like position dot height minus equals, I don't know. Oh, of course you're not going to show it. God, it's almost like 2/3 of it. So I guess we'll go ahead and say divided by, wait, no, that'd be multiplied by, this is going to be kind of weird, multiplied by 3f I'm sorry, 2f divided by 3f. Ugh, what a weird way to do that, but sure. So that should shrink this text area a little bit so that it's not right up against the bottom here. I'm also curious to see if that's close to what it should be or not. Okay, any day now, Unity. I believe in you. You can compile. That's almost right. So what? I guess that means it's more like 4/5 instead of 2/3. So let's try that, 4/5. Mostly we need to be able to handle multiple ones like that. So we want a little bit more because it's kind of cutting off the bottom letters there. but not quite enough that they're touching. It's a very delicate balance. I'm also curious just to see how little it moves. Ah, dang. So 4/5 is too much, I think, and 2/3 is too small. So what? That gives us 5/8, or is 5/8 less than 2/3? It's less than. No, 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 no. Yeah, it is. So we would want not 7/8. That would be even worse. Could I do 3/5? I guess. Sorry, I'm just kind of having fun guessing this right now. So I think that will be a little bit closer. That might end up being a little too short, though. Okay. Um, so after we get this done, what we're going to do is we're going to set up basically this list of IDs and string values. Oh, wow, that's way too much. I guess it makes some amount of sense. Nuts to it. It's a hard set number anyway. Let's go ahead and just say property height minus equal. I'm going to say 10f. Start off. That's the problem when you're trying to get like actual good-looking editors, is that sometimes you just have to use magic numbers because they arbitrarily use numbers. Like I don't think that padding in Unity actually has a uniform value. I think usually you'll get padding of like 3 on the left and 2 on the right, or maybe vice versa. It's kind of annoying like that. Also, there's no real reason for me to obsess over it this much, but I like to, have nice-looking inspectors. Okay, so 10 is too much. That means we're going to subtract by 5, and that should do it. Not 52, because that would be nuts. All right, so while that's happening, let's go ahead and I think we're done with the collection editor. Done with you. Okay, so we're also done with you. And we need to start coding things for our actual values so that we can get and set them. All right. Yeah, that's pretty good. 5. I could probably subtract 1 extra pixel and it would be fine, but I mean, we have enough of a gap, so. Okay. We're going to go ahead and start with start text, which will be, I guess, a template value. That should be pretty obvious, so we're just going to go ahead and say this is a message that is shown at the start of your game. Oh dear, I kind of wonder if these should be text fields. They probably should be, which really complicates things. Well, no, they don't need to, because the only person who really needs them to be text fields is me, and I don't really need to edit these very much. So we're going to say end text. Let's go ahead and copy this and paste this down here. We'll say at the end of your game. Let's go ahead and add a new field. This is going to be our quit text. So for this, we're going to go ahead and say, are you sure you want to quit? Question mark. Y, N. And I will probably go ahead and... Well, no, that's fine. Let's see. Global interactions. Really? That seems like a weird thing for me to do. Let's see. You. Yeah, you're gonna get moved. I'm gonna move you with the rest of the data for custom games. That way I don't have to go and hunt for you every time I need to change you. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and open this up so I can just grab those. Let's see, custom game parser command. Here we are. Attempt quit custom game. Go to definition. There we go. So I'm just going to copy that. I am 90% sure that's exactly what I typed, but just to be sure. No, I said, are you sure you want to quit? Not, are you sure you would like to quit? Okay. In addition to that, we're going to have quit confirm, and we'll just go ahead and say quitting. like that. Let's go ahead and go back up here. Go back to here. Let's see, attempt quit custom game. Start custom game. Oh, really? Let's go here. Y or N? Of course not, because I can't have nice things. Let's go ahead and find all references here. Quitting. Okay, current state. Here we are. Are you serious? There we go. Cancel and quit. Okay. And let's see. So, oh, right. Need to change that to quit cancel. And finally, item listing. So we're going to say UC : Okay. So that's all of the strings that we have currently. Let's go ahead and grab this. Oh, crap. We're going to rename that to include defaults. Okay. And I guess we'll go ahead and duplicate that as well. Let's go ahead and rename this to custom. So that way I can, well, actually, you know what? No, I don't really need that, do I? I just need the default one. So this will be a comprehensive list of all of my default values for these particular strings. And then what I'll do is when I, generate a save file, I will go through and just generate values for each of these based off of defaults. And then if you customize it, it'll save those as opposed to the default value. So I don't actually need a second scriptable object. All right. So for that was only part one of what we needed to do. Let's go ahead and go back to, let's see, we can close you for now. We're going to need you open, and we're going to need you, you're going to have submenus. Variables view, we're going to go ahead and close you, we don't need you right now. Create view, we do need. Let's go ahead and go back here. So on settings clicked, I'm going to go ahead and just say UI.open CG_ settings view. And we're going to say false, so we don't close others. And that should be good for now. So real quick, we need to add some functions to get IDs back, or get constants back from our lists. So we're going to go ahead and say, well, we'll just return the entire thing. So we're going to say CG string constant, get constant. That will be based off of the CG_ string constant ID, based off of the ID there. So we're just going to say for int I equals 0, I is less than constants dot count I plus plus. And then we're just going to go ahead and say at the end here we will return null. Otherwise we're going to say if constants of I dot ID is equal to ID, return constants of I. All right. So on top of that, we're going to want to have a public void set constant. That's going to take another CG_ string constant ID followed by string for a value. And we're just going to go ahead and say for int I equals 0, I is less than. Oh, this is kind of irrelevant, isn't it? Because we're not actually setting it. So, crap baskets. Right. That was the method I was originally going to do. That's not a. It's not a bad thing to do, I guess. So I guess we'll actually initialize this stuff. So we will use two scriptable objects, mostly because that makes it a little bit easier for me to do this. Otherwise, I'm going to have like an intermediary class that's sort of acting like a scriptable object and then sort of not. So it'll be easier just to have two separate scriptable objects. Now the data will still be loaded out to JSON and then loaded back in and then set up, but we do want to use two scriptable objects for this. So we're going to say I is less than constants dot, not length, that's not how lists work, dot count I plus plus, and then we're going to go ahead and just say if constants of I dot ID is equal to ID. We're going to go ahead and break out of our loop here, and we're going to say constants of I is equal, dot value is equal to value. Okay, let's see, is that pretty much all we need? I suppose we can do this. Say public void initialize constants, I guess. We'll take a list of CG underscore string constants. Let's see, new constants. All right, and all we're going to do is say constants dot clear, then constants dot add range from new constants. Very, very simple. And that's pretty much all we care about. So let's go back here to our settings view. We are going to have serialize the field here. We're going to say private CG string constant collection. We'll say default constants. Then we'll go ahead and say private CG string constant collection custom constants. Serialize that field. I lied. Those aren't going on this menu because those are going to go to a submenu. So we need to start coding our submenus here. Go ahead and let that compile. I am going to go ahead and create this custom. So that's going to be the scriptable object that contains the user-defined values. All right. Let's also go ahead and go to custom game author session. Oh, no, I lied. Not author session. Custom game session. That is not a custom game author session problem. So for this, we are going to want to have say public CG. It's going to be this. It's gonna be this. So let's go ahead and copy that. Paste that in. Get rid of you. We're not gonna have it. Well, no, it's gonna be like that. I'm gonna make it public for now. It's super awkward switching your coding conventions halfway through a project. Now I want to serialize everything and make it private, but I can't. So half of it's using public. Okay. So we're going to let that compile. I really shouldn't have done that. I should have made my script first. I'm going to come back down here. And we are going to have some submenus. Do I need to have a base class for those? Not really. They don't really do anything. So there's no like real need for them to reference anything. So actually, no. I guess that's a lie. They would have shared hide and show stuff. So let's go ahead and create a C# script. We'll call that CG underscore settings submenu. All right. While that's compiling, we'll go ahead and create another C# script. We'll call that CG underscore settings constant menu. That's kind of awkward. And After that, we'll also want to have create C# script, CG underscore settings, and then I don't know what to call it, which sucks because that's in the middle of compilation and it's going to cut me off. So this would be game info, game menu, I guess. Sure, why not? Yeah, that's fine. Oh, I should have called it info menu. Dang it. So I'm also going to want. Oh, jeez, this is really difficult to anticipate how these should be laid out. We're going to need a menu for game controls as well. So one that would allow you to do things like there's a time limit. Well, no, maybe that would be better to have soft limits on. Okay. Yeah, that's. No, that's fine. So let's go ahead and let that recompile. And. Okay, apparently. Seriously? So what? Does the new version of. Whatever. Let's go ahead and we want to go to. Let's see. Submenu. And I accidentally opened Unreal. Settings game menu and settings constant menu. Okay. So, yes. So settings submenu is going to be just a mono behavior. It is going to be under the text quest namespace, of course. On top of that, we're going to do, let's see, what does this need? We need a public virtual void show. Public virtual void hide. Let's go ahead and do a couple of things. We're going to go ahead and say serialized field, protected, game object, root. Let's go ahead and go down here. We're going to say, I guess I make those public typically. So we'll say public game object root get return root question mark root, otherwise root is equal to game object and do we care about anything else really? No, I don't think they need shared buttons or anything like that, so we should be good. Okay. Oh, right, I lied. We do have one more thing which I need to do, which is this. Public bool is open, or open. Say get return root.active self. Okay. Sorry, gotta adjust my headset. Alright, then we're going to go ahead and say if not is open, root.set active, true. Okay, let's go ahead and copy that, paste that down here. Do the opposite, so if it is open, we're going to set it to be false. Simple as that. Okay, so that should be good for our submenu stuff. Let's go ahead and close that. Open Unity again, let me close you. And let's see here. So for the settings submenu, we're going to go ahead and say it derives from, hold on, text quest. So it derives from CG underscore submenu. Okay. And for that, we are going to want to have, let's see. So this is going to be our game menu, which would be things like, created by and all all of that. So we're going to need to say using TM Pro, and I think that's it. So for this menu, we're going to need, let's go ahead and say serialize field, private TMP underscore, sorry, TMP underscore input field. So that's going to be our author field. We're going to have private TMP underscore input field. This will be our description field. Let's see, what else do I have in here? Oh, name. Then we're going to want to have private TMP underscore input field, name field. Let's go ahead and serialize all of these. And what else is there? Game image. I'm just going to do these three for now. So that's that. Let's see. What else would we want to do here? Well, we can set up the event listener, so let's go ahead and say private void on author edited string value, private void on name edited string value, private void on description edited string value, and we'll end with private void awake, and we'll say author field dot on end edit dot add listener on author edited. Just copy that twice. Name edited on description edited. Name field followed by description field. Okay, so that should be good for that submenu for now. We'll need to get into specifics, of course, later. We're going to make this text quest. So here's our constants menu. This is, of course, going to derive from CG settings submenu. Oh, right. We're going to need to override this stuff, too. So I need to say override open. Oh, sorry, show. We'll go ahead and say if not is open. Do all this fun stuff. Let's go ahead and say override hide. If is open. Then we'll do all of that stuff. Okay. We don't have anything to do with it yet, but we are going to need to override those anyway. Okay. So for this, for our constants menus, I think we're going to need a class specifically for a list. So we'll have a subclass that's handling the individual input fields of this, I guess. So let's go ahead and let this all compile. Wow, we are going to need a subfolder here. I'm going to say settings, which of course means that we need a subfolder up here. And once Unity compiles, we'll actually be able to do stuff with it. I believe in you, Unity. It's a very rocky belief, but I believe in you nonetheless. Alright, so this is going to be settings. Let's go ahead and drag those in there. And hopefully, since this is an editor folder, it should be faster. It's either going to be faster or way slower, one of the two. Alright. Well, while that's happening, I'm going to take a drink. Yeah, so we're going to need to make a, I guess I'm going to call it CG string constant field. Because I like having long names, and apparently I haven't said string constant enough. So let's go ahead and move all of these things into the settings folder here. And once that's done, I'm going to make a CG underscore string constant field. Wow. That is a crazy long time for it to move like 7 scripts. Create C# script CG underscore string constant field. Okay. So let's go ahead and open that up. Okay then. CG settings view is apparently... Of course it is. Seriously, something has to be setting those to be Unix line endings, because I have set them to be manually set to Windows. I really wish I knew why it was doing that. Whatever. Okay, so this is going to be under the text quest namespace. This one is definitely going to need using TM Pro, and I think that's all we need for this. So we're going to have a serialized field, private text mesh pro UGUI. This will be our ID label. Then private TM Pro input field. This will be our value input. Go ahead and serialize that. Now we have a couple of things that we need to do. I need to have an event, so we're going to say public delegate void constant event. That's going to pass an ID and a value, I guess, would be what I want. So I will say that passes a CG string constant ID followed by a string value. Then we're going to go ahead and say public event constant event on changed. On value changed, I guess. It's equal to delegate. If I can spell delegate. Okay, so that's that event. Then we're going to go ahead and say private void on value edited string value. We're just going to go ahead and say private void awake. I guess while we're down there, we'll just say value. Wow, I cannot type. Value input dot text. Excuse me, had to sneeze. Okay, so value input dot on end edit dot add listener on value edited. This is going to a couple of things. We're going to say private CG underscore string constant ID. I guess we'll just go ahead and say ID is equal to none by default. We'll have a public void initialize. Wow, really? Okay, it totally just hijacked my what I wanted to type there. It auto-completed me to death. Okay, so this is going to take a CG underscore string constant. All right. So we're going to say this dot ID label, and we'll just say ID is equal to constant dot ID. ID label dot text is equal to ID dot toString. Okay. Value input dot text is equal to constant dot value. Excuse me. And that should properly initialize all of our values so that they show up correctly. But after that, we are going to want crud. Crud. We got a couple of other things that we need to take into account, don't we? Um, well, we'll just leave it like this for now, but we're going to need to handle auto expanding and contracting, similar to what we do with our rooms. With our room item descriptions. Uh, so we have on value edited. That's going to basically just fire on value changed, um, then pass ID and value. That's pretty much all it's going to do. And the last thing that I guess we're going to want to do is say, let's go ahead and do a private. Well, yeah, all right. We're going to go ahead and say private bool. No. Yeah, bool. Initializing. We'll say initialized. Initialized is equal to false. At the end here, we'll say initialized is equal to true. Let's go up here. We're going to say public void clean up. And then we're just going to say ID is equal to none, followed by ID label dot text is equal to nothing, and then value input dot text is equal to, again, nothing. And before all of that, we're going to say initialized is equal to false, and then we're just going to wrap this in if initialized. All right. Okay. So all of that should allow us to actually have a menu now. So let's, oh crap, no, we gotta actually set this up first. Oh man, this is really the worst. It's just taking us forever to get to actual stuff. I'm just gonna be coding for a while. So I think we're gonna need using Unity Engine.ui. Actually, we're definitely gonna need that. Let's go ahead and say serialized field private cg underscore string constants menu. There we go. Constants menu. Private cg settings game menu. Say info menu on that. Go ahead and serialize that field as well. We're going to want some buttons. So we're going to say private button, constants button, private button, constants, oh, not constants button, info button. Let's go ahead and serialize that field, serialize this field. What else do we need? We're going to need serialize field, private, block color, or color block. This is going to be our active tab colors is equal to new color block. Can I cheat and grab this from the custom room view? That would be super nice. CG room. Where are you? Room view. Ah, dang it. I can't. That's disappointing. Fine. Well, at the very least I can do this. Drop down. Which means that I need to manually set these, don't I? Alright. So... And nuts to it. I'm going to be lazy. Okay, so we're going to grab this. Say inactive tab colors. And that should be all that we need. Let me think. Oh, no, that should be it. Oh, buttons. I need to have a back button, obviously. So let's go ahead and say serialized field, private button, back button. Okay. And that should be everything that I need for that. Let's go ahead and do private void on back clicked. Private void on constants clicked. private void on info clicked, private void awake. Okay, so we're going to say back button dot on click dot add listener on back clicked, constants button dot on click dot add listener on constants clicked, and then finally info button dot on click dot add listener on info clicked. Okay, all that. So on back click, we're going to go ahead and say, oh, not there actually, on constants clicked, we're going to go ahead and say constants button dot colors is equal to active tab colors. Then info button dot colors is equal to inactive tab colors. Go ahead and grab that, move these down here. Let's go ahead and say info menu dot hide, not hide flags, hide. Okay, followed by constants menu dot show. Okay, go ahead and grab this, paste that, reverse them. So hide, show, inactive, and active. I gotta sneeze again. The worst. Okay, we're gonna have to go ahead and say override open, override close. If is open, we're gonna do stuff, otherwise we won't. If not is, oh wow, that did not work. If not is open, alright. And let's see. Well, first things first. Give me a second, I need to blow my nose. Sorry about that. Did not want to have you guys hear me blow my nose. Okay, let's go ahead and let this compile. That should more or less let us actually start laying things out visually. Let's go ahead and open this up. And we'll just start from scratch, I guess. Let's go ahead and make a new menu. Once Unity compiles, of course, because I had the audacity of trying to do stuff while it was compiling. Well, thank you for following, Devstream. I hope I got that right. I'm terrible with names, so I apologize if I got it wrong. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and call this view dash custom game settings. Let's go ahead, we got a root, and now we're going to get into sub menus. Well, we'll also have buttons real quick. So let's go ahead and stretch this out. We'll call this our root. Nope, not a root, just root. We'll call this our buttons, bottom maybe. Yeah, we'll call it bottom. And this is just going to be where our buttons are. Let's go ahead and set our pivots and anchors to be correct. All right. So first things first, I'm actually going to go ahead and grab another custom game menu so that we can kind of reference it for template, if I could find it. And it's hidden. Hooray! Well, let's go ahead and select this. Alright, so options. Oh, that's the map. Right, so let's go ahead and rename that. Custom game map options, so there's no confusion. That is not a good one to actually reference. Let's go ahead and grab our variables. Yeah, variables should be fine. So we'll pop that in there, turn this on. So we're going to want to go with this sort of aesthetic. So I'm going to actually just straight up steal the buttons. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that, paste that in right there. Okay. Let's go ahead and turn this off. Let's go ahead and hit F so I can focus. And all right. Actually, hold on. So with this, I had a back button. It means my back button is going to go across the entirety of the menu, which is kind of awkward, but it's not the worst thing. So let's go ahead and have that stretch. And we will have offsets of, 50 is too much. 5, we'll do 10. 10 from the left, 10 from the right, and 10 from the bottom. I think that's fine. Let's go ahead and change our size here to be 50. Oh, not 50, 75. That looks good. Okay, we're going to go ahead and change our label so that it says back. Okay, so that should be that button. That's all we had to do there. And let's see, what else do we want here? Welcome back, Dusted. Or do you prefer Dusted Ham? Or Ham? Either way. Good timing. We've actually moved on to the UI stuff. So now you get to see visuals instead of just me coding all the time. Although, admittedly, the visuals you see will be mostly menus, but, it's progress. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and make a sub-object here. Have this stretch across the entirety of it. Be 100 from the bottom. And let's see here. We're going to rename this to content. We're also going to have it be 100 from the top. Oh, wait. Hold on. I'm going to grab my map real quick, or rather my custom room, which might already be a thing. Oh, it's like right there. All right, so this is the custom game room. So we're going to do something like this tab interface. So it kind of makes more sense for us to... I'm trying to think of how we want to visualize this, because we don't have a floating window like this anymore. It's going to be the entirety of it, and that makes it kind of awkward. So I guess we'll go for something more along the lines of, let's see, let's go up here. We're going to have a top that's going to be our tabs. Actually, no, that's even worse. We have, okay, I know what we're going to do with this. Anything works. Most people call me Dusted. All right. Well, then I will call you Dusted. Hopefully your dinner was good. Or supper. I don't know if that's a hill that you like to die on, the supper versus dinner debate. Okay, so we're going to call this top, and this is just going to be our label. So we're going to have this be called settings. So pivot, all that stuff's fine. Let's go ahead and create UI, Text Mesh Pro text. There you are. Make sure that it's using our correct font. Have it span the entirety of this. And then, of course, have it be centered. Okay. So this will be settings. I think that's pretty much it. Let's go ahead and call that label. We'll add... geez. Okay. I'm trying to make it so that our UI doesn't look weird. We're kind of mixing floating UI design and non-floating UI design here. So, now I go back and forth on what I call it. Yeah, I do too. I don't think I really say supper or dinner more than the other. Maybe I tend to lean on dinner more. I don't really know. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and create a image. Or an image. Gotta use the correct grammar here. We're just going to use our solid. Let's go ahead, have this be aligned to the bottom here. Actually, no, it's going to be, that's fine. 0, a position of 0, and a height of 5. That's typically what I do for these dividing lines. Okay, so from the left, we're going to do 50, and then from the right, 50. So that seems like a pretty good size. If we do 75, that might be better. Real quick, I'm going to go ahead and turn on variables. Wow, that is like exactly what I did before then. Ha! Yep, 75 and 50. Wow, perfect. Okay, so we're going to do something similar to this. Where we're going to have tab, except instead of free-floating labels, we're going to have tabs here. So let's go ahead and turn this off. I'm going to collapse that. Okay, so now we have content. And this is where it's going to get kind of weird. So we're going to go from the top by 75. I think that's what we want. Yeah. All right. So let's go ahead and save that. So now we're going to be generating so we're going to do this. We're going to make a child for our tabs and then another child for our content, like our actual submenus. So we're going to rename this to menus. We're going to call this tabs, or tabbins, tabs. Tabs will be stretched across the top, and let's see, anchored 0. All right. Let's go ahead and make this a horizontal layout group. And for now, we're just going to kind of do that. I'm going to steal my button here, paste that in here. Okay. Then we have another button. All right. Let's see. Content, actually, we're going to go ahead and have this be 50 from the left and 50 from the right so that these line up. And finally, we're going to rename these from back button to constant. You know what? It should be info first, shouldn't it? So info button and then constant button. Constants button. Let's go ahead and rename these. All right. And, oh, gotta change the label, of course. So the label for this is our constants, so just, need to come up with a better name. And then this will be info, I guess. I'm terrible at coming up with names for things. All right, so let's go ahead and collapse that. While we have this selected, might as well assign our script. So this is going to be our custom game settings view. Let's go ahead and grab that. Grab our info button. And of course I grabbed the wrong one. Info button. And back button. Go ahead and assign that while we're here. Alright. Naming stuff is hard. Naming stuff is hard. It's one of the things that I hate doing most. Actually, that's a lie. I love doing it. I'm just really bad at it. So we're going to shrink our tabs to... This one might be closer to 60. Yeah. Okay, and then we have our submenus. So this is going to stretch. It's going to be 60 from the top so that they don't overlap. Then we need to actually make submenus. So this is going to be our root. Let's go ahead and call that root. This is going to be our constants menu. Let's go ahead and have that scale up. So constants. We're going to go ahead and attach settings constant menu. Grab you. While we're here, might as well assign that. Okay. Oh yeah, I meant to ask. Dusted, if you're doing game development, what do you typically work in? Do you do Unity? Do you use Unreal? Do you use Lumberyard like everyone else on the planet? Because who doesn't use Amazon Lumberyard, let me tell you. I shouldn't pick on that engine so much. It's not a bad engine, it's a Y engine. But I guess it's good that it exists. In any case, so constants, this is where it gets kind of a little bit more iffy. So at the top of constants, we're going to have two labels, ID and then value. And then we're going to have some scroll lists that we need to do. So first up, let's go ahead and make a sub-object. We'll call this labels. All right. It's going to be anchored at the top. Okay. Wow, wow, this is kind of awkward. I basically have a good, I don't know, fourth of the screen, a fourth of the top of the screen before I get, maybe a third, really, before I get to any useful information. Uh, that's that's not ideal. That's really not. But no, I really just, I apologize that I keep hemming and hawing. I just really don't like, I can't think of a good way to lay this out. Um, Personal projects, I mostly use Unity. Okay. So wait, does that mean for your personal projects you mostly use Unity, or for your work you mostly use Unity? Or wait, whatever. In any case, real quick, I'm just going to go ahead and make some labels. We're not going to worry about positioning them too much. We're just going to do rough positioning for now. So let's go ahead and do 8-bit font. We will call this ID. Call this our ID label, not that it matters. Okay. So you use Unity for your personal home stuff. Do you use something different at work then? Let's go ahead and just stretch that out. We're just going to have this be centered and there for now. It'll probably be shifted a little bit further left, I think, so that it's kind of left aligned. We might as well actually just go ahead and do that. So like that. And let's go ahead, duplicate you, have you stretch from 0.5 to 1. And we're going to rename you to value. Okay. We will rename the labels to value label. Okay. And finally, actually, you know what? We're going to do something real quick. I'm going to come up here to tabs, or actually, I guess I lied. Top. We're going to turn you off. We're just going to get, we're going to get rid of you. Then we're going to move top to be no, 70. Yeah, we'll do 75. And then we'll move the content to be 70 from the top. So slight variation there gives us a little bit more room. Work is kind of a mix. Really, it's whatever the clients ask for. That makes sense. All right, let's go ahead. Close. Actually, no, we want to have you open. We're going to add 75, I think. Then we're going to go ahead and create a new image. Same thing we did before. We'll make it a solid. And we'll have that stretch across the entirety of the bottom. Pivot, and a height of 5. All right, that should be good. So we'll go ahead and call that divide. And okay, so now we're going to want to get onto our fields. So I'm going to go ahead and say create, scroll view. This is where things get fun. So we don't need the horizontal scroll bar because we don't do that. We're going to go ahead and change horizontal. We'll do auto hide and expand. That's fine for now. Actually, you know what? I'm going to delete that. I'm just going to steal this one. Of course I haven't set that up. That's fine. Dang it. But in that case, there's not much of a reason for me to steal this one, but I'll do it anyway. So variable scroll view, let's go ahead and copy that. And I guess we would just paste that in here. Single out scrolling. And let's go ahead and turn this off so that I don't get confused. Scroll view needs to be, oh, there we go. I was going to say, that's weird. So 75 from the top. Right about there. 0 from the bottom. We don't actually care about that. We do not care about this or this. Okay. So for that, we'll go ahead and rename this from variable scroll view to um, constants scroll view. Okay, all of that stuff is fine. We have spacing, it's vertical. Okay, so now we need to make our individual elements that will show up here. So we're going to go ahead and... How do I want to handle that? Hmm. Welcome back. I think we're going to want to outline them individually, but I'm going to go ahead and turn off our UI. We're going to see what we're doing for the game variables. I'm pretty sure that I outline each variable with a white box so that you can tell where each variable ends and begins. And that makes sense because I'm going to actually be expanding and compressing them, so I'm going to want to do that anyway. Let's go ahead and start. Let's go to extras. Oh, yeah, by the way, I guess, Dusted Ham, if you haven't played the demo, this is what the actual game looks like in the background there. So we're going to go to author mode, create, Zork. And I guess this is also an image from the game. It's a screenshot. But let's see. So for variables, okay, so I'm doing this, and I think that works. So I'm going to have some amount of gap, although now that I look at it, it looks like I have a divide line that I'm just totally ignoring. That's kind of funny. Okay, so let's go ahead and go back. Oh, dang, I could have totally opened that up if I was smart enough to do so. Oh well, I'll have to assign that. So let's go ahead and stop playing. We're going to go back to here, and I guess we might as well just go ahead and say UI.open CG create view. I think that's all I want to do. Aside from that, we're going to want to go ahead and say variables. Let's find CG variable. CG variable view. Let's go ahead and grab that. On close, do we do anything in particular? Nope, we just call close. And what about on back? Making sure I'm not doing something crazy. No, I just call. Oh, right. Oh, that makes sense. Wait, no. Really? Huh, okay. Well, I'm not going to worry about that for now. Okay, so let's just go ahead and jump back into our actual UI design. Grab this. Okay, wrong thing. Come on, Unity. I believe in you. You can do it. I know you can. Alright. Yeah, I was looking at the screenshots. It looks neat. I'll play a little bit later. Well, thank you. Well, hopefully it'll be enjoyable. I always feel bad on Saturdays when new viewers come by because it's like, welcome to the Devstream. We're not actually doing the main game today. I always feel bad that I can't show you guys that stuff in stream. In any case, let's go ahead and open this up. And so we're going to start with, I think, an image. So we'll say create UI image. That's going to be, of course, our solid image. We'll do that. So we're going to start off by calling this our string constant field. So let's go ahead and add this. Okay. Now, in addition to that, we are going to need to add a layout element. So layout element, it's going to be a min height of 50. I get the feeling it's actually going to be way more than that. It's probably going to be something closer to like 75. All right. On top of that, we're going to add another image. Make it a solid again. All right. This one is going to be black, and it's going to have 5 offset from the left, right, and top. And we'll call this background. No worries. I'll try to catch a weekday stream too. I don't get home till pretty late some days. Well, I mean, as much as I think it should, your life probably doesn't need to revolve around my Devstreams. But yeah, I mean, hopefully I'm entertaining enough / interesting enough that I warrant you coming back and watching. Just out of curiosity, where are you located? Are you in the U.S.? Are you in Europe? Because I tend to get kind of all over the place, and I always like to try and get a map of where everyone is. But if you're having dinner now, well, a little bit ago, that would place you farther past than my time zone, I would think. In any case, so we're going to start with a label. So we'll have a text mesh pro text. We'll call this we'll just say label. Make sure that it's the correct font asset. And the way this is going to be structured is, I think it's going to be something like 0.4. We're going to have it stretch over to the right and be in the center. And let's see, what all should we do besides that? We'll go ahead and say label there. Oh, Nova Scotia. Okay. I mean, I'm on the East Coast of the U.S. So, wait, is Nova Scotia not? Is there one extra time zone in Canada? I thought that for the most part, Canadian and American time zones synced up. For the most part, I know they're kind of weird. They're not quite exactly the same, but I thought they were semi-correct. So we're gonna call this ID label, and let's see. We're going to need an actual input field, which I am totally going to definitely steal that from our variables. So I'm just going to go ahead and drag this to here. Yeah, I want to steal the string field from this. So settings, value, string area. I'm just going to go ahead and copy that. Paste that there. Stretch everything out. Make it enabled. And then we will have it be anchored at 0.4. Okay, so let's go ahead and delete our variable node. Come back here, and from this, do I need to have 10? Oh, that's not okay. I didn't realize that's how that was set up. Okay, so I need to have a divide in the center here, I suppose. That makes sense. Let's go ahead and add a UI image. This will be aligned to the left. 0, position X is 0, width of 5. I think that would be good. And we'll go ahead and just make this have a, yeah, there we go. Oh, not 10, 5. That should be fine. Go ahead and rename this to be divide. Okay, so this should more or less be what I would think we would want our settings to look like. Well, actually, I think we might be able to get away with a slightly thinner, so 0.3. That's probably good. Let's try 0.3. 25. Really? 0.3125? Yeah, that's good. I also don't think I need the colon here, actually. So, okay. Let's see. So, for this, we're going to want to attach our ID label, followed by our string input field. I'll go ahead and rename this to our constant, or how about value input field? Okay. So that should be all we need for this prefab. So now I can make that a prefab. Let's see. Create folder settings. I'm actually going to go ahead and open this up. Create folder options. Let's go ahead and just drag this back over to there. Let's delete this. I don't really need that folder. I'm going to rename this to settings. Okay, so let's go ahead and we're going to name this. String constant field works. What the? Where did? Oh, there it is. Say, where did my folder go? Atlantic Standard Time. There's one more to the right. Huh. Oh, yeah. The super weird time zones that aren't in hour increments. Those are fun. I think there are also... Is that right? There's also a 15-minute time zone somewhere that's not synced up to the hour or the half-hour mark. I think that's correct, but I don't remember where. Yeah, time zones are weird like that. Okay, so let's go ahead and delete that. So that is almost everything that we need. So CG... Oh, okay, interesting. Let's go and open this back up. So I need to add a reference to that, so we're going to go ahead and say serialize field, private CG underscore string constant field prefab. Okay, so let's go ahead and let that compile. It sounds awful. I honestly don't know how they chose time zones. I'm assuming that it was basically like a mathematical equation that they kind of blocked out when it would make sense. But it's always super weird living on the border of time zones. I live in Indiana, which is like right in between. Well, not in between. It's right on the border of the Eastern time zone and the Central time zone. And we used to be one of the few states in the U.S. that didn't change or didn't do the daylight saving time thing. We do that now, of course, but it used to be back when I was a kid, when daylight savings time happened, we would be on Central Time, and when it wasn't daylight savings, we would be on Eastern Time. So I would actually get like super mixed up whenever anything. It's weird. Time zones are weird. I don't know why they're so complicated, but they are. In any case, so with this, let's go ahead and assign our actual value here. Okay, so we want to put you in there. I don't know why I didn't just go ahead and do everything else that I needed to do here. We're also going to need our scroll view. So I'm going to go ahead and say private nothing because I need to actually assign or do using stuff up here. So I'm going to say using Unity Engine.ui followed by using system.collections because we're going to need a coroutine. So I'm going to say private scroll rect. We'll just call that scroll area. Scroll area. Let's go ahead and serialize that field. Let's see. The Earth rotates 15 degrees every hour, so there should only be 24, but instead there are 35 worldwide. And daylight savings time is a whole other thing. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I just know that the time zones in, I think it's Asia, get super weird, because I think, does China not have multiple time zones? I thought I remember seeing a time. I'm kind of curious about this now, so I want to look this up. I thought I remember seeing something like that, and it is. Ah, that's so weird. Yeah, China is like one big time zone, which makes no sense because of how wide it is. Unless it has sub times in it somehow, but yeah, time zones are weird, and clearly they're not standardized, which makes it even worse. Okay, so let's see here. So for our scroll area, we're going to want to have a private enumerator. So this will be our scroll delay. So we're just going to do yield return null, and then we're going to say scroll area dot normalized position is equal to, I believe we want 1f, right? Yep, 0 being at the bottom, so we want 1f so it scrolls all the way to the top. Okay, so we're going to need, I think that's all we really need for that, but we are going to need to go ahead and say override show say if not is open, then override hide if is open. Go ahead and do that. And on top of that, we're going to want to have private void generate fields. Okay. And then below that, private void clear fields. Okay. Generate fields will of course call clear fields before we do stuff. And then I'm going to need to say using system.collections.generic. Alright. Let's go ahead and say private list. So I'm going to be doing some rapid fire coding here. CG underscore string constant field. We'll call this fields is equal to new string constants field. All right. So on clear fields, we're going to go ahead and say for int I equals 0, I is less than fields.count, I plus plus. And at the very end here, we're just going to say fields.clear. Okay. Then we are going to say down here private void on field edited. That's going to take a CG string constant ID followed by string value. So we're going to say fields of I dot on value changed minus equals on field edited. And that's then fields as a pool manager. Oh, right, I need to use common here. So using sleepyowl.common, we're going to say fields of I game object there. I'm doing this backwards because of course I am. Pool manager. I can't type. Pool manager dot recycle. Okay. So that should get rid of all of the fields that we have spawned, but we need to actually spawn them now. So for this is where it gets a little bit more difficult. I need to generate these things. So I guess that means I'm going to say oh geez. Yeah, okay, that'll work. So give me a second here. I'm going to say private custom game author session cached session. Say private custom game author session cached session get return cached session question mark cached session. Otherwise, we're going to say cache session is equal to global.get custom game author session. Oh, did I just make this static? Wait, what? Can I convert method get to non-delegate type? What are you... Did I do that wrong? I mean, this might just have an... No. What the frig? Okay. Give me a second here. Let's look for variables view, because surely I'm doing that there. Yeah, did I do something stupid here? Why are you mad? Well, see, the thing is, it shouldn't matter, because you can see that I'm doing it here. So let's... Oh, duh! Oh, wait, no, never mind, I lied. I'm going to copy this. I'm kind of curious as to why it's breaking. It has to be something strange that I've done. Okay, so let's go ahead and copy this. That's weird. What was I doing differently? I wasn't. It was just squiggling for no reason. Okay. I hate it when it does that. That always throws me off. So I was correct. It just thought I was wrong, even though I wasn't. Okay. Um, anyway, with that, we can go ahead and do this. We're going to go ahead and just say cached session dot custom contents dot constants. So we want to basically just iterate through this. So we're going to say for int I equals 0, I is less than that dot count I plus plus. We might actually, no, that's fine. We'll just manipulate it directly. That'll just kind of happen sometimes. Yeah, I hate it when it does. The worst offenders are things like that where it just says you're wrong even though you're not. But I always get nervous whenever I type something out and it's correct, but then there's like a little squiggle next to a period or something, like at the end of the line, and it drives me nuts because I'm like, did I do something wrong? Did I not format? What's wrong? In any case, so we want to loop through this and generate those fields. So we need to request those fields so they spawn in and then initialize them and then set them up for to be listened to. So let's go ahead and say, so cg string const field, say field is equal to pool manager dot request from what was it? Field prefab, and it's going to spawn itself underneath. I need this to be, wow, actually hold on, I did these things all out of order. Paste that in. Okay, so we're going to say serialize field private rect transform. I guess we'll say grid. Okay, so these are going to get parented to grid when they spawn in. That's all we care about. After that, we're going to say field.initialize based off of cached session.custom constants of I. Okay. And then we'll say field.on value change plus equals on field edited. All right. And then we're just going to say fields.add field. All right. So on field edited, we're just going to say cached session dot custom constants dot set constant based off of ID and value. All right. So we should be able to, as of right now, be able to actually edit our constants menu or edit our constant values. But before we can do that, we need to make sure that we initialize those properly and do everything else. So on show, we're going to do, we'll say base.show, followed by generate fields. Simple as that. On hide, we'll go ahead and say clean up or clear fields. That's fine. And that, I think, is all we need to do for the constants menus. Real quick, we are going to go ahead and go, okay, I don't have it open, so let's go ahead and go back here, let it compile. And I need to open up our game menu. Okay. So for this, we are going to want to retrieve our actual, okay, that's why I held off on this. So I might actually go ahead and move this to our, oh crap, wrong thing. Save that. We're going to go ahead and move this stuff out of the constants menu specifically and move it into the settings submenu because I'm going to need to use it a couple of times. Let's go back here, go to definition, and paste that in. We'll make this protected. Okay, move this below root there, and we should be good. So now that should all compile still, and now my settings game menu can do this. So for that, we're going to need to say cached session dot. So here's, I don't know if I should expose that or not. I guess it kind of makes sense. Let's go ahead and go to, let's see, settings constants. Hold on, my cat wants attention. Yes, I see you, cat. And now I need to go to custom game author session. Or actually, no, probably custom game session. Custom game session. Okay, let's go ahead and open this up. So for this, I don't really... good. So do I load this? I really hope that I do. I really hope that I can change this stuff. Because that would be lucky. Find all references. And I would actually applaud myself. Oh goodness, look at that. Hooray! I was smart enough to do that. Well, that's nice. Good job, Past Chris. You actually did something right for the change. So we want to go to Settings Game Menu. Okay. So here, we are going to... I guess we'll say refresh info, so I'll make a private function for this. So I'm going to say private void refresh info. And we're going to say author field dot text is equal to cached session dot author. Do I not have an author? Oh no, it's creator. Yeah, I called it creator. Probably should rename that to author. Cat, you can't get up here while I'm working. Tell you. Cats know when you're working. They just love to get up on your keyboard. Okay, so we're going to change this to description. Oh no, I'm sorry. Title? Which did I do first? Name field, I guess. So name field is going to be title. Then description. So this will be description field. Are you kidding me? I called description decryption. Please tell me that. Okay, that's hilarious. Let's rename that real quick. There we go. Okay. So now we can go back here. On author edited, we're pretty much going to do the exact opposite of this. So let's go ahead and copy that. We're going to get rid of that and say is equal to you. So pretty easy going here. Paste that in. So the last thing we're going to need to do before we can test this all out is going to be setting up our, let's see, where are you? Settings view to open our info by default and then handle tabbing between everything. It should be able to handle tabbing between the two right here. But on open here, we're going to go ahead and say on info clicked. Save that. And that's pretty much all we care about, I think. That might be all I need to do. Oh, right. I need to call refresh info here. Refresh info. All right. Oh, and actually, before I forget, on here I need to say fields of i.cleanup. Not that it matters, I don't think, but it should be fine there. Okay, so let's let that compile, and then we'll finish setting up our info menu. Well, I guess technically it would say start and finish. And then we should be able to test this. And once we can test this and confirm that it's working, then we can actually hook things up to properly behave themselves in custom games. And that shouldn't take too long, fortunately. So that's exciting. So let's see here. Constants, are you all... Oh, no, you're not. Right. We need to change you to the grid. Grab you, put you there. Okay. So that's the constants menu, which means we can turn you off. Let's see. Oh, crap. Oh, that's definitely not good. Wow. Woof. Yeah, that's, oh boy. The inspector did not like that. Well, okay then. That That's interesting. Let's go ahead and go back here to our settings view. I guess our color block is not going to use a drop down because apparently that just breaks things in half. Let's get rid of you. I have no idea why it's doing that, but it's very annoying that it did. I guess that's fine. We'll just go ahead and start making our submenus again. Let's go ahead and make our other submenu. Put that up at the top. This is going to be our info. Of course, I typed that as soon as it compiled. So now I have this long hang. One day I'll have short compile times if I organize the project correctly. Let's go ahead and stretch this out. Stretch you out, call you root. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and drag our game menu here. There's our root object. Alright, so for this, we're going to have nothing really crazy. We're just going to go ahead and make not a scroll view, but a vertical layout group. So let's go ahead and call this vertical layout group. Not going to control height. And spacing of 10 is probably fine. Let's go ahead and rename this to be fields. Alright, next we're going to want a blank child object that has a layout group on it. Or sorry, layout element. Minimum height is going to be, I think 100 would be fine. We're not really going to need that, but we'll label it as such anyway. Of course, that reset it. 100. Okay, we're going to call this our author. Let's go ahead and create a text mesh protext. We'll have this stretch anchored at, I think, 0.4? Yeah, 0.3. I think we can get away with that. Make sure we're using our 8-bit font again. Anchored to the right in the center. Let's go ahead and call this author, colon. We'll call this just label. All right, and next we're going to want to have, we're going to want to use our field. So I'm going to actually pull my constant field back in here. And I'm going to just steal it entirely. So copy that, paste this in here. Single from the left, all that stuff. All right. So we're going to change this, make this an image. Make it solid, of course. And then we're going to change our value input to be 5 all around, like that. Okay, let's go ahead and rename that to input. And, oh, I should probably call that author input field. What's the mean for? Let's see. So we want probably 10 from the top, I think, all around. So 10 and 10. We might make this 75. Yeah, that's a little bit better. Okay, so fields, I'm also going to give us a artificial buffer of like 25 from the top. And that's pretty much all we really need from that. So let's go ahead, delete this. Grab our info. There's our author field. Cool. Let's go ahead and duplicate this twice. Renaming things as appropriate, of course. So this is going to be our title. Single it out. Change our label to title, colon. Call this title input field. Let's call this one description input field. Oh, and description is actually going to be a little different. Let's go ahead and rename this to description because it needs to be, I think, a little bit more vertical so that you can have a potentially somewhat longer description. Got a weird problem to solve in my code. I accidentally typed instead of just saying All right. Well, I've definitely done that. Been talking and then I start typing when I'm talking. Okay, so the label is going to say description. And we're actually going to change this height to be 150? 200. And we're going to also change our alignment here to be near the top with an offset of 10? 20. Yep, there we go. So this is a lot longer. Description input field is also going to be a multi-line new line, I think, so that you can do tab, or you can do paragraphs basically, and that should handle everything. Well, thank you, William. Always fun to be visited by the cheer train. All right, so let's go ahead and hook all that up, and then we should be good to test, I think. So let's see here, info. So we're going to go ahead and assign our name field and then our description field. Let's go ahead and minimize all that, make it go away. Come up here, assign our info. Crud. I got to set these up. Well, I know my color multiplier is going to be 1 by default, and fade duration is going to be 0.2 by default, but everything beyond that is kind of up to chance. So let's go ahead and steal this. Active colors, trying to have some consistency across all of my UI. So, so here is our normal color. Go ahead and grab. Hold on. There we are. Highlighted color. Taking that. I really wish I had a bulk copy and paste for color blocks. I don't like how they're so convoluted. Go ahead and paste you in, and on you. Not that it really matters. Is that the same for both of those? Yeah, pretty much is. It's the same for all of those. Okay, that's good. That makes it a lot faster on the second time. Let's go ahead and change this. Paste that in there. Let's go ahead and copy all of this. And that is supposed to just be full alpha all across the board. And all right, so yeah, that should work. Order, I guess, should probably be something semi-competent, so 6. Okay, we're not going to hide cursor on close. We will show cursor on open. Let's go ahead and minimize that, and now we can make this a prefab. It's been 2 hours, and finally we have prefabs. Okay. So let's go ahead and collapse that, turn you off. Let's assign our menu that we just made into a prefab. So make you that. All right. So let's test this. It should work. Oh, wait. No, it won't. Crap. I forgot one very, very important part. We need to set up our actual... Stop that real quick. We need to set up our game to load in those constants. Otherwise, it's not going to do anything. So custom game session. All right. So here's where things are going to get kind of weird. So I need my from JSON here. All right. So in settings, let's go ahead and take a look at this. So we have info, game data, and do I have anything beyond that? We have connections. This is all stuff for the nodes that you see in custom games and the map. And no, okay. So we're gonna go ahead and go up here. Let's go back into our code. Settings JSON. Section settings. Wait, so I do have something called settings in here then? Oh, there it is. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. Right. So this is where things are going to get a little bit more crazy. Um, so we're going to come back here, and in our settings JSON, where we start loading that stuff in, we need to grab our constants. So we're also going to have to go up here. Go to definition, and let's see, custom game data info. Here we are. So we're going to say public const string key, not lay, key underscore, and also not public. Settings, and then what do I want to? I guess we'll call this constants. So settings dash constants. Okay, let's go ahead and move this over to the left so that I don't have to constantly hunt for it. So here we're going to make a. It wouldn't be an array. I guess it would be better to make it a. Yeah, okay. Let's see. Close some of our stuff because we don't need it anymore. Settings view, we do need you. String constant field, we don't need, but I do want the thing I do to initialize. Let's go over here. All right, so I'm going to add a function to this. We're going to say public. Oh crap. Hold on. I need to say using sleepyowl.common. So we have to be able to turn this into JSON and vice versa. So I'm going to say JSON object to JSON. Then we're going to need JSON object. JSON is equal to new JSON object. Return JSON. Do stuff there. And then public void from JSON. That will take a JSON object, JSON. Okay, we're going to come up here, and we're going to say public cg string constant, JSON object, JSON is equal to null, and then if JSON does not equal null, from JSON, passing in JSON. All right, let's see. Now we need to actually add some more custom content utility stuff. I guess I'm going to put it here. So I'm going to say public. Oops. You know what? Nah, it's fine. I can actually just put that here. So we're going to say private const string key underscore ID is equal to ID private const string key underscore value is equal to value. Very, very technical terms here. We're going to say json.add key ID followed by id.toString. Then we're going to say json.add key underscore value. All right. From JSON, it's pretty much the exact same, but in reverse. So we're just going to say ID is equal to JSON.getString value key underscore ID dot to enum, and it's going to be a CG string constant. Okay. Is non-nullable type. Oh, dang it. Autocomplete was wrong again. There we go. Then we're going to say value is equal to json.getStringValue at key underscore value. All right, so that handles our saving to and from JSON for that, but we now need to actually set that up. So here, we're going to need to say, actually, you know what? Hold on. Let's go ahead and grab. Let's see, we aren't going to need you open anymore. We aren't going to need. I don't think we need you open anymore. So let's go ahead and grab our collection. So cg underscore string const. Oh, and of course we have to play the guessing game. Aha! Found it. Do I want to make this have its own JSON thing? Yeah, okay, fine. Um, so let's go ahead and come up here. We're going to say public void initialize constants. And this is going to take a JSON object. Oop, and look at that. I am not using... Oops, wrong thing. Using sleepyowl.common. Hmm. Oops. JSON array. So it is going to be an array that we use here. And that will be our JSON. All right, so we're going to say constants.clear to start off, and then we're going to do a for loop. So for int I equals 0, I is less than JSON.length, I plus plus. And we're just going to say constants.add new constant based off of JSON.get object at index I. Ta-da! BRB. All right. And that should handle initializing this scriptable object from JSON information. So we can now go back to our session here. This is where it gets fun. Okay, so we're going to say JSON array. This will be our constants array is equal to new. I'm sorry, not that. It's going to be equal to settings JSON dot get array. That's going to take custom content utility dot key session, or I'm sorry, settings constants, and then we're going to pass in a new JSON array. So if one doesn't exist, it will create one. So here we're going to say if constants array dot length is greater than 0. Then we're going to load that data. Otherwise, we're going to have to initialize from the default values. So we're going to say custom constants dot initialize constants based off of default constants dot constants. Okay, so simple there. Next, we're going to want to say custom constants dot initialize constants based off of constants array. Okay, so that should handle loading that data. The next thing we want to do is down here in to.json, we want to make sure that it gets saved out. So we need to say JSON array. Oh man, you know, it would be super convenient if I just had that in my actual collection. So I'm going to do that there as well. So let's go ahead and say public JSON array to JSON. So we're just going to say JSON array, JSON is equal to new JSON array. Then we'll return JSON at the end here. We're going to just do a for loop, so for int I is equal to 0, I is less than constants.count, I plus plus, JSON.add constants of I dot to JSON. Okay, simple as that, which means that we can now just come back here and say settings JSON.add custom content custom content utility dot key settings constants based off of custom constants dot to JSON. Okay, so that should handle saving and loading it, as well as initializing it if it doesn't exist, and that means that everything should work. So let's try that. I do think I still need to assign custom game author session, so I need to assign these default values, of course. But then after that, we should be good. Oh man, this will be very exciting once we actually get to test this stuff. It's been 2 hours just coding it. It's the problem with custom games, or custom game support at the very least, is it just it takes you forever to do anything because you have to try and set everything up to save generically out and then be read in. And okay, moment of truth. And obviously it's going to work perfectly the first time we ever do this, even though I'm pretty sure there's actually 1 or 2 things that I've forgotten to do that I can think of, kind of. So, we'll see. Yeah, we've already added the menu to the UI, so that should be good. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and go to extras, author mode. It's gonna create Zork. Okay, so we didn't get any errors. Oops. Oops. Yeah, it's gonna make things a little hard to see, but at the very least we can see all of our values here. That's interesting. Let's go over here to constants. All right, so that's all loading in. Although this is interesting, I can't seem to like scroll much past that. It's weird. I have to do that way over here. I can't do that over here. Don't know what's going on there. Okay, so we have start text, end text, quit confirm, quit cancel, item listing. Nice. And we should be able to edit these. So let's go ahead and change UC to like there is. Now this won't actually reflect any of our, like it won't show up in our custom games yet, because we're going to need to set that logic up. But we should be able to, this should affect our save file, although actually it won't, because of that. Yeah, crap. This is gonna be fun. Can I somehow make this work? I totally can. This is gonna be weird. Let's see if I can get away with this. I'm gonna try to open up the game map. This is totally gonna break everything, but it should work. Yes. Okay. So that should save everything. Let's go ahead and stop playing. Take a look at our save file. Yes. Okay. So now all of our data is saved out. You can see that we've changed our item listing values to there is. So that works. But we need to do a couple of things. So first up, let's see. Custom game session. No. Settings view. Probably want this. Okay. So we're going to set our cached value, or our cached session custom constraint value there. Then we need to go ahead and say cached session dot save. Wait, hold on. Really? Is it just save custom game? Yeah, okay, it is. I'm also going to go ahead and comment that because I seem to second guess myself on that every time I try to do this. So this is going to be our save the custom game data. Geez, I need to phrase that better so that I don't second guess myself still. Not used for runtime saves. Maybe that will be better. That's still terrible comments on my part. Okay, so yeah, the thing I mostly forgot to do there is I need my settings to have a, let's go ahead and get rid of you. So custom game settings, I need it to have a backdrop. It didn't before. That's why it was really hard to see everything. So let's go ahead and add component to that. Once Unity decides to let me add components again. Because eventually it will allow me to do it. There we go. We're going to add just an image. I'm going to go ahead and make this our solid sprite. Welcome back, Dustin. We're going to make this black with a transparency of 200 for now. So it's still going to be a little confusing because we're basically keeping the main menu open while we're editing this stuff. And it's not going to look good right now, and that's because I need to set it up so that my main menu background is freely available to everything, to every menu, so that I can actually see that everywhere, but I can't do that right now. So let's go ahead and turn this off again, hit apply. And before we go back, I need to know why my back button wasn't working. So let's go ahead and save this. Oh, that's interesting. You don't show your hint like you should. I wonder why. Well, whatever. Let's see. Custom games menu. Is it because I didn't set up? Oh, no, that's the settings game menu. That's not what we want. Or the sub menu. We just want the settings view. Have I not set up on back click to do anything? Oh, I don't close this. That's why. Okay. So let's just go ahead and say close. And then on close, we are going to, wait, why didn't on info clicked go then? That's super weird. Okay. So let's go ahead and say on backclick we are going to close, and we're also going to save. Nah, it's fine. We'll go ahead and let that go. So we should be able to actually see those things load in correctly. And you know what? We might as well set up the logic to let us change those values. So, oh boy, this is where it's going to get kind of nuts. We want to go to custom game session. Let's see here. We don't. Oh, actually, you know what? We don't want that here. I don't think that there is a. Yep. All right. Let's go all the way back up here. I do want to go to. Where are you? Rooms. Here we are. CG room. Go to definition. Okay. So here is where I need to append the UC stuff. All right. So instead of UC, we need to. Please tell me I have a reference. I don't. That kind of complicates things. Give me a second here. So we're going to want to say private custom game session, cached session. Back up here, private custom game session, cached session. Get return cached session question mark cached session. Cached session is equal to global.get custom game session. All right. So with that, we're going to come down here, and instead of saying UC here, we are actually going to say plus custom game or cache session dot custom constants dot get constant based off of item listing. Okay, so we should be able to right now go into our custom game and pick up an item, drop it, re-examine the room, and instead of saying you see an item, it should say there is an item. Oh, jeez. I know that was a lot of setup for a relatively minor amount of payoff, but it's totally worth it, trust me. Okay, so let's go ahead and start playing again. Oh man, I am getting hungry. It's almost like I've been streaming for 3 hours. Well, almost 3 hours. Let's go ahead and say start, extras, author mode, create, Zork. All right, let's go over to game settings. So this is, yeah, it's still a little incomprehensible, but again, eventually the idea here is that you won't actually see UI elements. You'll just see the background sprite over everything. And that's so that you can have some semblance of an idea of what your background is at all times. Also, why is info not, it's just not clicking for some reason. That's super weird to me. Oh, whatever. So, all right, I should have also changed this so that this is not centered like that. That's kind of awkward. This is a description for a custom game. Instance. Isn't that cool? Okay, so that sets up the description. Let's go over here to constants. Make sure that this loaded in correctly. There is apparently something over this that's preventing me from scrolling. Oh. Oh. That's kind of annoying. So if you're hovering over a text field, you can't scroll. All right, so there is loaded in. That's good. Let's go ahead and go back. Let's go to our test game. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and say take gem. Okay, we're going to drop gem. and then we're going to look at the room. I clearly did that wrong. It's almost correct. Okay, let's go ahead and stop playing so I can fix that. Okay, so that makes sense. I forgot to say dot value. There we go. Let's see. Is there anything else I would want to do there? Nah, that should be fine. Okay, so let's see. Where are the other areas that we have customizable text? The UC was the major one right now. Quit text, I guess, will be something that we want. So that's not going to be in CG room. So let's go ahead and let that compile. But we are going to want to see, what is it? Are you, is that here? Yep, okay. So we're going to change this to custom constants dot get constant quit. Oh, I did that wrong. Dot quit text. Okay. Dot value. That's pretty good. Let's go ahead and grab this. What else are we going to need? I have canceling quit here. Got the hiccups. All right, same thing here. Let's go ahead and paste that in. This is going to be quit cancel. So do I only have those three that I can use right now? Yeah, we don't have start text set up. We don't have quit confirm text set up, and we don't have end text set up. So I guess those three are the only ones that we can really do right now. Let's go ahead and let that compile. Food important. Should eat if you need to. Yeah, I'll probably eat once the Devstream's done. Oh, it sucks because it's going to take me like an hour. I'm going to be making pizza tonight. And that process, since it's going to be grilled chicken pizza, takes an hour. All right, so we should be able to play. Oh, right. Ooh, right. That's fine for now, because we clear it all out. Oh crap! It modified the original. Oops. That's not good. Okay. Should I make those structs then? Yeah, that would make sense. No. Crap. Yeah, I didn't want it to do that. It totally changed our default value. Let's see here. So, add range added a duplicate of the information, not an actual reference to it, but let's go ahead and close this. CG settings view and get rid of the text message per reference. CG create view. We know that you're good. And I don't accidentally refer to my default ones, do I? Find all references. No? Alright, then it's because of that. Boo. Well, it's fine for now. Go ahead and change this to say UC. Oh, and you know what? While we're here, before we start playing, let's go ahead and change that text orientation or alignment for the description field. So that is actually further or up at the top left instead of awkwardly in the middle like it is currently. Okay, so let's open this up. Open you up. Let's see. Content, tabs, info button. No, that's not what we want. Sorry. Turn you on. Go to our description field. Description input field, and we're going to have this be aligned That's interesting. Our placeholder is aligned to the top left, but our text itself is not. Fair enough, I guess. I guess just to check real quick, let's go ahead and input something. Okay, that looks good. Get rid of that. Let's go ahead and turn you off. I'm also going to go ahead and open this up. I'm wondering why it's not showing up. So when I show, if not is open. Okay, so that should be correct. Then why do you not actually open when I tell you to open in settings view? I call if not is open on info clicked, which should show our info menu, and yet it doesn't. And it also doesn't set our constants, or our tab colors for some reason. Alright, well, whatever. Let's just go ahead and sign that, apply those differences, collapse this, get rid of the UI. Okay, so now we should be able to see a difference in our quitting text, our item listing text, and then our quit canceling text. There was one more thing that I wanted to do tonight, which mostly involved auto-expanding the settings here. So, why do you do that? Okay, so that looks good. Oh crap, our description is not changing. That's not good. That makes sense. So I do actually want to have the menu save when we're done with it. Let's go ahead and go over here to constants. Oh dear, that should totally wrap. Also, it's very annoying that I can't scroll. Not sure what to do about that though. So we say there is, all this stuff is fine. So real quick, let's go ahead and test. So we've already seen the take gem, drop gem, and then look at the room. So you can see there is. Then if we type quit, it should say, are you sure you'd like to quit? If I say no, it should say canceling quit. I'm just going to go south to win. So we're going to change the canceling quit and the quit text. So canceling quit will say, all right then. We'll say flee. Okay, let's go ahead and go back. Let's go ahead and test again. So now I'm going to say quit, flee, yes or no. Say no. All right then. Ha! Yes! Okay. So the only thing that I really wanted to do was when you select these fields, I wanted to expand them so they would kind of like do a little animation of them getting larger and then smaller. Basically to match what we do, if I go over to Start Room, Interactions, I do something like that here. You can see that it expands and shrinks whenever it's active or not active. I would want to do something like that, but yeah, it's going to take a little bit. Let's see, you could do some silly stuff where you grab the scroll wheel values externally and modify the scroll use value yourself. That's not a bad idea. Well, see, so the problem with the scrolling is that, and I guess I don't know this for a fact. Okay, timeout. Timeout. This isn't doing what I want it to. Oh, I know why it's not opening. It's because I did something stupid. Yep, that's why. Because I did something stupid. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, ideally we would have this stuff scale up and down. But anyway, the reason that it's not scrolling is because this is a thing that you could potentially scroll in. So while you're hovering over it, it gets priority as opposed to the scroll reel or scroll area, which is why you can scroll over here but not over here, and you can awkwardly scroll if you point in the middle of the areas. Although I'm actually kind of curious if let's go ahead and open up UI view container, custom game settings. Can I set these guys to like ignore their hold on. So I don't want to set them to not be raycastable, but I wonder if I can tell them to ignore scrolling or something like that. No. Well, that's disappointing. Um, yeah. Boo. Because, I mean, if I turn off raycast target on both of these things, then can I do that? So that was done in our, let's see, what was this? Messages shown at the start of your game. Okay, so let's go ahead and resume. Nope. That's disappointing. I was hoping that turning off raycasting on the actual images or the text fields themselves, but um, hmm. Huh. Narukami Yagami. That's a lot of money. Thank you. I have to. Huh. That seems like a. Anyway. Yeah, I might have to do it the other way while the menu is open. Well, yeah. I don't know. There's probably some way that I can get around this and not have to worry about it. Like, there's probably some built-in way to Text Mesh Pro, I would think. And if not, I'm sure that I can come up with something that basically says while you're hovering in this area, then yeah, we can do what you suggested, which was basically just to force the scroll to happen. I don't know. That's kind of disappointing, but um, I think that's a problem for a later day. So uh, I am going to say that's a good place to stop for the night. So we have string constants set up. They're not fully finished, but they're set up, so you can actually customize or you play. I don't know what to call people who make these things. Authors can customize what our default string values do for things that will always be in the game. So things like quitting, or things like continuing and all that stuff. So it's good to have that stuff compartmentalized in such a way that players can adjust that to make it whatever they want. So minor. It seems like a minor thing, but it's something that I think will help make the experience of customizing, making custom adventures a lot more fun because you can customize these values now. So, that is definitely a good place to stop for the night. So, as always, I want to thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you all next time.